Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakbarash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles, great millstone, the peace and salutations unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Start off with 144,000, which will be the ruling governing body in the kingdom of heaven, which will be all men. And also to a lot of the 1/3 here in America, the large multitude of believers, which will be men, women, and children, that will be saved. 2/3 of all people here in America, Babylon the Great, will be destroyed. You also have the rebels that are scattered abroad, different countries to be destroyed, and you have the elect that are scattered abroad, different countries to be saved, of who the world willingly and ignorantly calls black, Hispanic, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, Panamanians, Cubans. Right, we are the Israelites, contrary to what the world wants to believe. I am your brother Yeromia, coming back at y'all with another listen. As y'all can see from end time headlines, it says illegal migrant boomed after attacking Cube agents with shovel while evading arrest in Minnesota. So we're in this time, man. All hell breaking loose, man. You know, let me get straight to a scripture. Let's get Revelations 18, right? Because nothing but violence, destruction, and mayhem and chaos is happening, man. And it's going to continue. It's going to escalate as this kingdom is getting towards the day of the Lord coming back. And, you know, we pretty much in Jacob's trouble, man. You know, pretty much in the beginning stages of it. Right? This is what's going to happen when this place is completely fallen. There's Revelations 18 and verse 21. It says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon, which is America, right, be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. You see, we're in a time to where, you know, like I pretty much said, all hell breaking loose, chaos, and it's inevitable, right? It's unavoidable. Can't nobody turn back the hands of time, right? Can't nobody stop this, man. You know? Let's go to Isaiah 45, right? Verse. Matter of fact, let me go to Amos 3 and verse 6. Or 3 and verse 7, Slakia. It says, 3 and verse 6, it says, shall a trumpet be blown in a city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be any evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? You see? That's a question, a rhetorical question. That means yes. Right? The Lord did do it. And this is considered, you know, evil, right? That, you know, whenever people get, you know, boomed, you know, they get, people get robbed, bad things happen to people in the city. You know, people go to the spiritual realm, right? The Lord had it all happen, man. You know, whether it was, you know, a performance, staged, or, you know, whatever. You know, it's all a part of prophecy, man. These things are ramping up. These things are happening every day. You know, me and the brother did a lesson earlier. Right, we already halfway through the so-called month of January of this new year according to their calendar, and these things are happening every day. Right, but you still got people going to work. You still got people, you know, planning for vacation. You still got people trying to do this, trying to do that. Right? Let's go to Matthew 24, right? In verse, let me see, Matthew 24, in verse, Salakia. It is verse 30, I'll give verse 36. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. This is AHSHAWAR talking. AHSHAWAR didn't even know it. He don't even know when he's going to come back, the exact day. Right? But it says, but as the days of Noah were, so also the coming of the Son of Man be. Right? For as in the days that they were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, right? Marrying and giving into marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark and knew not till the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, right? You know, it says, I'm going to read verse 40. It says, then shall two be in the field. One should be taken and the other left, right? The one taken beamed up, right? And the other left to be destroyed. Two women should be grinded at the mill. The one should be taken, the other left. Watch ye therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord cometh. And, you know, let's talk about when Yahushua returns. But we know before Yahushua returns, there's going to be chaos on the earth, man. Jacob's trouble, right? You know, the time of great tribulation, all that's going to already be happening when Yahushua returns. And it's going to be literal ICBMs are going to be getting pelted over here from these different countries, man. That's all prophecy, man. But as far as what's happening right now with ICE, everybody's seeing this, man. Everybody's hearing about it. You know, it's all the news. You're seeing it on social media. But like I said, people are still, they going about their daily life because it ain't affecting them right now. But it will eventually. You know, something going to happen, man. It's too much going on for something to not happen eventually the next coming weeks, days, or months of this year. Something drastic is about to happen, man. You know, you can feel it. You can really feel it through the spirit, man. There's a lot of things happening, right? Life ain't normal, man. You know, people want to have that illusion in their head that it is, but it ain't normal. You know, they trying to get this thing cracking, right? Let's get Revelations 12 and verse 12. And the reason says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, and woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. You see, he knows. This devil knows that he don't have a long time, so that's why he's got to have these events, right, happening, so people can get mad, man. You know, and it's affecting everybody, man. It ain't. You know, I've heard the elders and apostles say, man, Jacob's trouble, yeah, the main target is Jake, and the main people that's going to be got or caught up is Jake, but it's going to also affect you other nations, too, because everything is spiraling out of control, man. They want all hell to break loose, man. These upper echelons of these of the wicked that's ruling, right? You know, these E's, they want these things to happen, man. It's called order out of chaos. They want that to happen, so they can enforce certain laws and certain decrees, and they can bring in Revelations 13, man. It's gonna happen, man. The elders and apostles was dead on the money ever since they started preaching it. You know, when they came in, you know, however long ago, 40 years ago. You know, they never switched up the doctrine. You know, we in a time where all things are being fulfilled. All right, and this is clear. It's clear, man. You know, and the only way to get out of this, when they enact that ML, you know, how do you spell is it Walmart backwards? You know, guys, we gotta try to speak in code, man. You know, because these things are happening, man. Ain't no turning back, man. You know, we in the time of war, man. Let me get that. I also read this in me and the brothers live lesson earlier. Right? Ephesians 3. And not Ephesians, Ecclesiastes. Salakia. In verse 1 it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. What's under the heaven? The earth, right? And I'm going to skip down to verse 8. It says a time to love and a time to hate, and a time of war and a time of peace. And we're not in the time of peace. We're in the time of war, man. You know, it's going to get so bad out here, man. So much violence, so much chaos and mayhem to where we're going to need Yahushua, man. We're going to need divine intervention. We're going to need YASHARAHLA, man, the archangel, man, under Yahushua, the angel of war, to come and defend us, man. The elected Israelites. Lord willing, we part of that number. You know, it's going to get that bad, man. We ain't going to be able to go to work soon. You know, they gonna, like I said, something's going to happen, man. To where, you know, you ain't going to be able to go to work. You know, they're going to have troops going from door to door. You know, they doing that with the cubes. You know, they're gonna have tanks outside. Something's gonna happen, man. You just had an internet outage, you know, and that's why we always pray to YASHAMIAHLA that when these things happen, we cover, man, because the scriptures say, you know, this devil gonna come out like a flood, man. You know, he's mad, he angry. This is Daniel 12 and verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people should be delivered, everyone found that should be written in the book. You see? And that time is pretty much, you know, now, you know, that we coming into. It's gonna get that bad. You know, if you're not written in the book, if you're not written to be delivered, or you're not a part of the elect, you're done. You are toast, man. You ain't physically getting out of this. You ain't fighting or shooting your way out of this. There's no way you can prep for the stuff that this man is doing, man. You can't. You Jakes that think that you bugged out, man. They just had a what do you call it? DEW that they possibly. I haven't really looked into it too much, but you know they have damn weapons that they have in the sky. They could shoot, you know, on a place, man. You telling me you gonna fight against that? Yeah, okay. You know. Jake, think you got it. That's why the scriptures say, in second Esdras, woe is me, who should deliver me in those days. That's what days we in, man. Matter of fact, let me get this prophecy first, second Esdras 15. In verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them at the world that reign, which means death and destruction. That's what's happening. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, right? People fighting against each other, and that's what's happening. And one people shall stand up against another, right? Swords in their hands, which the modern day sword is the gun. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course or their actions shall stand in their power. You see, these people, they ain't not gonna care, man. Especially these everyday Edomites, they basically, that constitution stuff is over with, man. Your rights, the average person, you know, and good. It says, a man should desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, what I just said, ML, right? They gonna declare it, man, for sure. Verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right, and man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but should destroy the houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and great tribulation, man. You know, don't forget over the past, you know, years, man, you done had different, you know, food processing plants get, you know, boomed and destroyed and caught on fire, train aromas with, you know, with different chemicals polluting the air, and you got a lot going on, man. You know, it's about to get bad, man. Jake cannot see it. You know, let these Eves fight the war, man. But you gonna have these dumbass niggas be involved. That's they 2/3, man. You know, we calling on YASHAMIAHLA, man. That's who we trusting in, man. You know, as times get, you know, harder and harder and days get more evil, that's who we lean upon, man. You know, we're going to have to detach physically from this place. So, you know, hey, keep the faith. Pray for more wisdom and knowledge, man. Stay locked in. You know, time of Jacob's trouble is here, man. You know, ain't nothing else to talk about. You know, so with that, I'm going to close out. This video was edifying. You know, I'm going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kagwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Till next time, I want to say, Shalom.